They were too young to vote, too young to hold guns, too young, by every law, to be soldiers, and yet. They fought an empire. It was the 1970s in South Africa. Apartheid ruled with laws that made black children second-class citizens in their own land. Townships were overcrowded, schools were underfunded, and police patrolled with guns and batons. Children had no say in the language they were forced to learn. The Bantu Education Act tried to make them obedient, not free, but the children refused to obey silently. Moses, 12 years old, painted slogans on walls in secret. Tandy, 14, carried pamphlets from house to house, whispering messages of resistance. Saifo, 13, threw stones at armored cars. His heart pounding, knowing he might never return home, they marched not for fame, not for glory, they marched for the right to exist in their own land. On June 16, 1976, the world saw their courage. Thousands of students gathered in Soweto. They sang freedom songs. They chanted for justice. They carried handmade banners demanding the right to learn in their own language. The police responded with bullets, tear gas, and batons. Children ran. Children fell. Children died, yet the march did not end. The sound of their voices spread through townships and cities across South Africa. Mourning families carried the bodies of children, and survivors returned to the streets with renewed determination. Every step they took was a message: we will not be silenced. The empire that thought them powerless learned the bitter truth: courage has no age. Some children were arrested. Some spent years in jail. Some never returned home. Mothers wept in silence. Fathers stood broken. But every act of violence only strengthened the movement. The courage of these children became the heartbeat of a revolution. Young voices inspired older generations to rise, demanding equality, justice, and freedom. Teachers, community leaders, and families joined the struggle, united by the bravery of the youth. News of the Soweto uprising reached the world. Images of children running from tear gas, of bloodied young faces, shocked international audiences. Protests, sanctions, and campaigns followed. Slowly, the empire that once thought itself invincible began to weaken. Years later, South Africa began to change. Apartheid laws were dismantled. Schools that once oppressed now teach freedom and equality. Streets once patrolled by armed police are now filled with children playing, singing, and learning their history proudly. The children who were told they were powerless became symbols of resilience. Their voices carried across generations. Their bravery is remembered every year on Youth Day in South Africa. They were small. They were young, but they were unbeatable.